Well, I got into this when I was at Chip. I was actually a political science major when I started at Shippensburg, but I didn't really enjoy that. My parents wanted me to be a lawyer. So one night, though, my roommate was on the campus radio station, WSYC, and there was a basketball game that he was covering. And the guy he was supposed to work the game with couldn't make it. He was ill. So he asked me, as his roommate, goes, "Why don't you come in and do this basketball game with me?" And I was like, "I have no idea what I'm doing." And he said, "You'll be fine, don't worry about it, you understand basketball." So I went over and I did this game with him at Higas, and I had a great time doing this. I thought, wow, this is really interesting and fascinating. And within a couple months, I changed my major over to communications because I felt that that was something I really wanted to do. I originally got into it thinking I would do sports radio, sports announcing or something like that. But as I spent my time at WSYC for a couple years, and I started doing production on things, on the radio side of things, editing together shows, news programs, sports programs, I found that I really liked the hands-on part of it more. So when while I was at Chip, I had 2 internships at TV stations for production, which I think were vital, to me getting a job. I used the internships to make connections, but also to learn, what you had to do in this business. So when I graduated, I got my first job right after I left Chip at a small independent company that had a production capability, and got in there and just started doing some real basic production type work. And then it's just once you're in that mode where you're working, the next job leads to the next job, the next job. So I was out here in Harrisburg after that. I started in Pittsburgh. I was out here in Harrisburg working for a company and decided to start my own business. I'd kind of always wanted to have my own business from an early age, and I just felt that the time was right. I was 30. My wife and I were just starting our family, and so we kind of decided to take the plunge. And so in 1990, we started our own business doing corporate videos, things like that for clients. And over the last 20 years, it's just evolved and grown. And we felt at one point after about 5 years that we needed to get the business bigger in order to have it make enough money to keep things going. So we started bringing on an employee and then another employee after that. So we only have a total of 3 employees in addition to my wife and I, so 5 of us total. But we've been able to really service a good part of the Harrisburg region with a variety of products. From now we do web design, we do video for the web, we do multimedia, we do duplication, we do TV spots, long format TV shows, a variety of things. We're kind of all over the place. And for a variety of clients, from small businesses to big companies here in the region. But it really all started with me making that switch, one night to go do a basketball game. And here we are 20 years later, and still have a business that we're very proud of. Well, I worked in corporate for a while, and so I understood that. I kind of got the feel for that. And your life is controlled by the corporation, by the business. You have to be in there at a certain time. You work till a certain time. You get a certain amount of time for lunch. I wanted to have my own business because I wanted the freedom to make my own schedule. When you start your own business, you do not have a lot of freedom. You work long days and you put in a lot of weekends because you're just trying to keep this thing going. But over the years, as my family started to grow, having my own business gave me the opportunity to go to my kids' school activities and sporting events. I rarely missed anything that my kids were involved in because I was able to say, you know what, I'm going to take an hour or 2 from my business. I can come back and work later. I can do whatever. But it really did. It gave me the opportunity to live my life the way I wanted to do it. If I wanted to take a day of vacation to do something with my family, I could do it. Part of that also comes from the fact that I had people here working for me that I knew could take care of the job. I didn't have to be here every day. And that was one of the reasons we wanted to expand, so that this business could go on in the event that I wasn't around. But I think that's the biggest part of it, is that I control my own destiny. I could make my own decisions about what this business was going to do and how it was going to grow. I could make my own decisions about who I was going to hire and who I was going to work with. And those things have all really paid off very well. As a student, I think the big thing is experience, at least in this field, in communications. There's a lot of people that are moving into the communications field, whether it's, some of them aren't calling it communications anymore, but multimedia, media, film, whatever. The big thing is to have experience, hands-on, get your hands on things, get out there and do internships and things like that. That was critical to me getting my job, and that still applies today. You can come in with a great grade point average, but you really have to be able to do the thing, work the equipment, understand the technology and things like that. So you've got to be hands-on and ready to go. And you have to be professional. I'm amazed at how many people come into job interviews and just aren't prepared. You know, they don't know how to interact. They don't know how to look you in the eye and answer your question. I might be a little old school, but when I'm doing an interview with somebody, like, I want to shake their hand, I want to look them in the eye, and I want to hear their answers clearly, and they got to have some confidence. But I find that a lot in the recent years that you know, people have a very difficult time with that one-on-one interaction. So I would say work on that, work on that, work on that.